I'm Shreya with USC's Young Scientists Program, and as you can see, I am not in Los Angeles right now. I'm in Illinois, which is a lot colder than California, and the land around me looks a little bit different too. What you see behind me are the woods, which is a habitat for some animals and plants that you might not be able to see in California. Come with me and we'll learn about different habitats and what animals and plants live there in this video.
A habitat is the home of an animal or a plant, and a habitat's biodiversity is the variety of living things it has. So if a habitat has more kinds of animals or more kinds of plants, that means it has more biodiversity. So now let's go through some different categories of animals. First we have amphibians, like frogs, which are born in water, have gills when they're born, but soon those gills turn to lungs and then they live on land. Next we have birds, which have feathers and lay hard-shelled eggs. Next we have mammals, which produce milk. They have hair or fur on their body, and they're warm-blooded, meaning that their blood doesn't change temperature based on what the weather is like or what the temperature is like outside. This might surprise you, but humans are actually mammals. When our moms have babies, they make milk, we have hair on our body, and our body temperature does not change. Next, we have reptiles, which have scales or scaly skin. They're cold-blooded, meaning that if it's cold outside, the blood in their body will be a little bit colder. And they're born on land from eggs. Last, we have fish, which live underwater, and they only have gills. They don't have lungs, so they cannot survive outside of the water. Now let's go through some habitats. First, we have a rainforest, which is warm and very wet because it gets a lot of rain. The trees grow really tall, and there are many layers. So the animals and plants that live on the floor are very different than the animals and plants that live at the top of the trees. Next we have deserts, which get very little precipitation, which is a word that just means water that falls from the sky, so it's very dry. It can be hot, and that's what we're used to, but you can also have deserts that are very cold. They can be cold and just not get a lot of rain. Next we have a coral reef, which is found underwater in the ocean, and they're homes for small little animals in the ocean. Next we have the woodlands or the woods. These are more open than rainforests, but there still are trees and other plants, but it doesn't get as dry as a desert and it doesn't get as wet as a rainforest. What makes a habitat have more biodiversity than another habitat? That's what we are going to try to figure out in our experiment.
For this experiment, the Skittles are animals and the cups are habitats. Pause here and count out the number of Skittles for each habitat. Now that the Skittles are all counted out, we can take a look at each habitat. So this coral reef habitat has a lot of red. This desert doesn't really have any red, but it has all the other colors, not that many. The rainforest has a lot of all of the colors, very diverse. And the woodlands has a couple of each, some more than others, but also not as many as the rainforest. Now we have to figure out which color Skittle equals which type of animal, so pause here and see if you can figure it out. But if not, we can see the coral reef has the most red and not a lot of other things, and that probably means the red is fish, because fish live underwater. Next, we can look at amphibians that need somewhere where it's wet to be born and dry to grow up, and a rainforest sounds like a perfect place. The rainforest has the most green, so the amphibians might be green. Mammals don't really live underwater because they have lungs and need air, so the place with the least mammals is the coral reef, which means it might be yellow. Reptiles and birds is what we have left. Reptiles can live in deserts where it can get super hot or cold because they're cold-blooded. And birds cannot live underwater, so we can guess that reptiles were orange and birds were purple. Now, which one has the most biodiversity? I'd say the rainforest does, and let's think about why. The rainforest has a lot of diversity in what it looks like. There's a lot of water, there's a lot of sunshine, there are different layers, some are cool, some are hot. This means there are a lot of different types of plants and a lot of different types of animals that grow there. These are some factors that make one place have more biodiversity. This week's scientist is Julia Carabias Lillo. She is an ecologist and environmentalist from Mexico. She has held many official positions in the Mexican government and has devoted her life to increasing conservation efforts and keeping our planet healthy and beautiful. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed these few videos.